Hello everyone. When I walked through the woods like this in my childhood days, I used to think, how does water reach the top of the tree through xylem? In this session, we are going to learn about how does transportation of water, salt, food, etc. takes place in plants. As in animals, transportation of substances takes place in plants too. There are some specialized complex tissues in plants called as vascular tissues. Vascular tissues extends from roots to leaves in plants. Water and salt absorbed by the root is carried to the leaves through xylem. Xylem, it is a vascular tissue. The food what is prepared during photosynthesis in the leaves is transported to different parts of the plant body through phloem. Phloem is also a vascular tissue. Now let us learn in detail about xylem and phloem. Transportation of water and salt takes place in plants through xylem. Xylem, it is made up of 4 different types of cells. They are xylem vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Xylem vessels and tracheids are the dead cells of xylem. They help in transportation of water and salt in plants. Xylem vessels are long tube-like cells arranged one above the other in an interconnected manner. As the cell wall disintegrates, they look like a long pipe. Tracheids are elongated tube-like cells with thick wall and tapered ends. When comparing the size of xylem vessels and tracheids, xylem vessels are greater in diameter, which help in transportation of water and salt. Xylem parenchyma are the living cells of xylem. They are made up of thin cell wall. Xylem fibers are made up of highly thickened wall. Xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers provide support to xylem vessels and tracheids in transportation of water and salt. Next vascular tissue which help in transportation of food in plants is phloem. Phloem is also made up of 4 different types of cells. They are sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Sieve tubes are long, elongated, tube-like structures arranged longitudinally one above the other in an interconnected manner. Sieve tubes have a cross wall in between and they are called as sieve plate. Cross walls in between and they are called as sieve plate. They have numerous pores on the sieve plate and they are called as sieve pore. The cytoplasm of adjacent sieve tubes are interconnected through the sieve pores. Companion cells is always seen associated with the sieve tube. They are a type of parenchyma cells. The third one is phloem parenchyma. They are elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells. elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells. Phloem fibers are made up of sclerenchyma cells. Phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma provide support to sieve tube and companion cell for transportation of food in plants. Have you ever thought how does the water reaches the tree top through xylem naturally? There are many processes which help in transportation of water and salt in plants. They are transpiration, osmosis, cohesion, adhesion, capillarity, etc. It is a very vast process, but only few processes we are learning. The other you will learn in detail in higher classes. Already in lower classes you have learnt an experiment related to peperomia plant. Do you remember? When we put the peperomia plant in a colored solution and keep it for few hours, and if you take the section of the stem, you can see that the xylem get colored due to absorption of colored water. And the colored water reaches the leaves also. That shows the transportation of water through the xylem vessel to the leaf. We know that water in the soil is absorbed by the fine hair-like structures in the root known as root hair by the process known as osmosis. When the water enters into the root hair, a pressure is developed in the first cell of the root, and that pressure is known as root pressure. Root pressure and osmosis help in conduction of water through the root cells. From the root cell, water moves into the xylem cells through osmosis. Along with osmosis, many other processes also help in transportation of water through xylem vessels. They are transpiration, cohesion, adhesion and capillarity. First one we will discuss about transpiration pull. There is another experiment what you have learnt in lower classes. You have to take two potted plants, one with leaves and the other without leaves. Cover the potted plant with leaves with a polythene bag and keep it for few hours. After few hours, we can see some droplets of water in the polythene bag. What does that indicate? Loss of water from the leaves. The process of loss of water from the leaves through stomata in the form of water vapor is known as transpiration. It creates a decreased pressure on the leaves, and that decreased pressure is known as transpiration pull. I'll repeat once again. Due to transpiration, a decreased pressure is felt on the leaf, and that pressure is known as transpiration pull. In order to compensate that decreased pressure, water is absorbed from the xylem vessel into the leaves with the help of transpiration pull. The processes which help in transportation of water through xylem vessels are cohesion, adhesion and capillarity. Cohesion means the attraction between similar type of molecules. Adhesion means the attraction between dissimilar molecules. Capillarity means the movement of water molecules through thin tube. All these processes help in transportation of water through xylem cells. Next is about transportation of food through phloem. The food is transported from leaves to different parts of the plant body in the form of sucrose through sieve tube. Already we have discussed about the structure of a phloem. Sieve tube are long elongated cells which have cross walls in between, and that cross wall is known as sieve plate. They have minute pores on it known as sieve pore. The cytoplasm of one cell is connected to the adjacent cell through the sieve pore. And it is through the cytoplasmic connections the food is transported from one cell to the other cell. Along with the sieve tube, companion cell also help in transportation of food through phloem. Now we will see the differences between the movement of substances in xylem and phloem. In xylem, the water and salt is transported from roots to leaves, that is in upward direction, always in one direction, so unidirectional. But in phloem, the food what is prepared by the leaves is transported to different parts of the plant body. So it is bidirectional, both upward movement as well as downward movement is seen in phloem.